Hey Virgo, this is Michael with your January 2022 reading. Happy New Year. I do hope that this finds you well and in good spirits, and if it doesn't, I am sending you all my love. I know that this year has been off to kind of a rocky start for a lot of people, which makes sense with the astrology. And I think for Virgo, I actually kind of skipped ahead to you. It really feels like there's a lot of things that aren't going your way right now. It just feels really challenging this month. Your ruling planet Mercury is going to be going retrograde this month, so if you're feeling a little off in January, that's probably why. Mercury will be going into Aquarius on January 2nd, the same night as the new moon in Capricorn. And it's going to be going retrograde on the 14th and then back into Capricorn on the 25th. So whenever a planet goes retrograde, it's just appearing to go backwards in the night sky. There really is this focus on you reviewing things and really figuring out routines that work for you, actually. There's going to be a lot of focus on how you're using your energy in your day-to-day life, specifically while Mercury is in Aquarius. And there really is this focus as well in Capricorn season on your creativity, on the things that you love. And it's always kind of interesting with Virgos, having Capricorn ruling their fifth house. It really is our tendency to take life very seriously, I think. However, where this is beautiful for Virgo is that we can create business and longevity out of the things that we love. And I think there really is also this focus on love for you this month, and honestly feeling a little lonely and a little isolated. I'm kind of getting that message with the cards, which I've already drawn for you. I do have the Six of Cups showing up in the past, and there's been a lot of focus on healing and reflection. And that makes a lot of sense for me, actually. We did have the eclipse in Sagittarius at the beginning of November, and that might have brought up stuff with family or your early childhood, potentially, your sense of home. And that really was wrapping up a 1.5-year cycle, and we are now entering into a new cycle. The nodes are actually shifting this month. So you might be feeling that things are changing in kind of a almost invisible way. Things are just shifting. And there's been a lot of focus on you healing and kind of wrapping up those lessons. And I actually do get a major sense of healing with the Temperance and Ten of Cups here. These are showing up as lessons that you've been learning, what you've gained from this time, and it's almost like figuring out what you want for your long-term happiness, too. And maybe even figuring out what is something that you thought you wanted that was actually just an expectation that was placed on you, especially from your family or early life, early environment. There's a lot of that that's just really in the collective in general. And I did actually work on the year ahead horoscopes. Those are available on my website right now. And for Virgo, there really was this focus on finding love, finding relationships, finding a soulmate. That's really, really important for you in 2022. And the way that you approach relationships is also kind of in a big emphasis right now. So finding that other, whatever that means, or wanting to merge with something greater than just you as an individual. And I see that very much with like the Ten of Cups here in particular. I do see the Five of Pentacles for you, kind of the central card this month. That is feeling a little left out in the cold, potentially. And it almost just feels like Virgo, it's like, why do I always gotta be the one to fix my own problems? Why is no one there for me the way I am there for other people? Or maybe people don't appreciate all that you do. I'm just kind of getting that vibe. And the challenge here is actually the world. And the way I interpret that is you reaching out to other people. That's kind of what the Five of Pentacles is about, needing to reach out to people. And maybe if you are feeling lonely, putting yourself out there a little more, throwing yourself out into the world. Obviously, that's going to be challenging for a lot of us, depending on where in the world we find ourselves. Mercury is retrograde, your ruling planet. Venus is retrograde. There's been a lot of things that have kind of shut down our way of life again. And we're kind of, it almost feels like it feels like we're kind of back where we started in a lot of ways with the pandemic for people. And that makes perfect sense to me with the astrology, just being honest. There's a lot of things that are in review, and a lot of the themes that we're going to be experiencing this year. It's like all these things that have been kind of up in the air, all the borrowed time that we've had is kind of like running out and it's crashing to earth. And there's going to be a lot of consequences that we're dealing with this year. Um, but for you, Virgo, the message here is that you need to reach out to other people. Why are you always alone? Why does it always feel like you can't trust in other people or rely on other people? Maybe something happened. Maybe there was a sense of betrayal, but actually, Virgo, I think it's something you've internalized. And now it's you kind of addressing the ways that you might be isolating yourself this month. And that's part of this healing. It's leaving the past in the past and allowing new patterns, new relationships, new people into your life. And again, there really is this focus too on doing things that you love, that make you happy. Reconnecting with those things, maybe hobbies or creative projects that you haven't touched in quite some time are going to be important for you in January. And with this new moon in Capricorn, it actually is a good time to commit to a creative project or venture. And even with this New Year's, maybe you set a resolution or intention to work on something creative. I feel like with this Venus retrograde, though, it's really like, it's hard for you to figure out what makes you happy or how to make that something that you can actually put time and energy into right now. And I think that might be why you need to kind of ask other people and talk it out, hash it out with somebody else. I do also get this sense or this energy with the Seven of Swords and the Queen of Cups in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if in the second half of January in particular, like right at the end around the 25th, especially with Venus still being retrograde in Capricorn, there could actually be like an old love interest or an old friend, potentially even, who comes back into your life and you are very suspicious of this person, or this person might just be spying on you, checking in on you. I potentially could see that as well. Maybe following your social media. Someone who wasn't being direct with you or isn't being direct with you. I do get a lot of water sign energy here with this Queen of Cups, especially Cancer, but this could also be Scorpio or Pisces. And if this is resonating with you, it's almost like you were missing this person at the beginning of January. They come back to your mind for whatever reason. And it's like they're kind of coming back into your life or maybe testing the waters. If this part of this reading is for you, what I really get with this is like, you both know what this person has done. You know that the dynamic wasn't good. Maybe it was you. I'm not going to just blame this other person. I don't know the situation. It's a general reading, but it kind of feels like them. Kind of feels like someone else is sneaking into your life. You're feeling like pretty left out in the cold. That's why I feel pretty comfortable saying, I think this is someone who has done you wrong or done you dirty, Virgo. Kind of coming back into your life. Could even be a little bit manipulative with this water sign energy. And I mean this in the sense, like, sometimes really intuitive people will use that to, like, tell you what you want to hear, whether or not they realize that's what they're doing. And I think that could potentially be this energy. But I think, I do feel like if there is someone who comes back from the past, be cautious. Be really, really cautious with this person. I think you know that. I don't feel like I actually need to focus too much on that for you. You already know. You're very well aware. You actually do have the High Priestess as kind of a theme for this month as well, connecting to your own intuition, really letting things be kind of slow, not trying to force things. That's the thing with Mercury retrogrades. It almost shows us in almost a comical way how little control we have over our own lives. Like, oh, you're going to make all these plans, you're going to try and have all these things happen. Well, what if we just throw a wrench in here? What do you do now? What sort of revisions do you need to make, or what do you need to let go of? Um, that could be kind of an energy too. But both Mercury and Venus retrograde are notorious for bringing back people from the past. And if this doesn't actually bring someone back, maybe you're just thinking about them a lot. They're just coming up in your mind, and there's some sort of healing. I feel like you really need to trust your intuition, though, Virgo. And I would be a little, I'd be a little distrustful. It almost feels like, too, this person, there's almost like a psychic connection between you and this person, or you're just both very intuitive, and it's like they know you're kind of going through a lot, or they know you've gone through a lot, and maybe they're sort of coming in, trying to help you, or that's at least how it appears to be. I don't know if they're actually able to do that, um, but that's sort of an energy I get. And I did pull some animal cards for you as well, and I have the vulture and the camel. Interesting how we both kind of have these animals that are associated with arid environments. I know vultures are found throughout the world, but I'm just getting like this deserty energy with both of them. And it's like finding that wellspring within, finding that happiness within, the water within you, knowing that this oasis is coming. And I would go as far to say, Virgo, if you're resonating with a lot of these messages, it's almost like there is something beautiful that's happening for you this year. There's something really great that is unfolding for you. There's new relationships. And it's almost like someone is coming into your life, or maybe there's someone who's currently in your life who's kind of stepping up their game, but it almost feels like it's a little bit too late because something good is coming, and you're kind of holding out for that. And vulture to me is telling me that there are things that need to be brought into balance. Things may need to be let go of in some respect as well. And I actually think of your energy a lot, Virgo. I'm actually a Virgo myself. I think of us as like this vulture energy. We rule over the intestines. And what that really means for Virgo is that we take in the world around us and we digest it. We decide what is going to be used and what is going to be discarded. And that's kind of what vultures end up doing too. Vultures will take what is decaying, what is rotting in the environment, and take that in and find what is useful from that energy and discard the rest. Nature doesn't actually let many things go to waste. There's always a recycling that is happening. And really this time period is like figuring out what is going to be sustainable for you, and finding nourishment in loss or in challenges is potentially a theme. I also think of vulture as like something circling over your head, and that's why I do feel like there might be energy around you, Virgo. Like you're feeling it, even if this person isn't coming forward very directly. It's like you feel something around you. You feel people's energy around you. You are very, very intuitive this month. And with Neptune and Jupiter now in the sign of Pisces, you are very connected to your soulmate or to soulmates. It doesn't have to be a single person. And maybe it's like you're feeling someone else reaching out to you. I know this sounds like really wooey and really like rom-com sort of thing. I swear I'm not one of those readers, but it is. 2022 really is this kind of year for you. It's so focused on relationships. It's focused on you longing for that and trying to create that. And it's really going to depend on what your rising sign is in particular. If you're a Virgo rising, then it really is quite possible that you are finding a relationship this year. Or really strengthening a relationship this year, or focused on your relationships this year. But yeah, I feel like there's kind of a disingenuous energy. And I don't think it's necessarily that this person is even lying. It feels more like this is an energy of someone who knows they messed up and they're trying to like make up for it without apologizing properly. That's an energy to be mindful of. You see through it though, I think, with this high priestess energy. And I feel like there is also just a focus on you really reflecting spiritually. The camel is very spiritual to me as well. I think of like the pilgrimage, being in the desert, being in this kind of harsh terrain and connecting with God, connecting with the universe. Those are really, really powerful themes for you this month. And that makes sense because January really isn't going to be the productive month that we want it to be. Maybe for some people it will be, depending on their charts, but I think being ruled by Mercury, it's pretty safe to say that this is more a month for you to focus on routines, kind of readjusting, adapting to things, and potentially even retreating yourself. And there could be people who are connecting with you, and I'm not saying don't talk to them, but be very selective. Trust your intuition. That's really up to your own discernment, honestly. I think you know what you're getting into with people, just being honest. But I feel like there is something that you've healed, right? And I almost get the story, Virgo, like, you've done a lot of work on yourself. That's what I'm getting with this group of people who are watching this video. And it's almost like you've had to heal yourself, and that's beautiful. You've done all this beautiful healing, and there's almost something heartbreaking where it's like, yeah, I healed myself, and I did that without anyone's help. And there's kind of a dagger in that, where it's like, why did I have to do this alone? And this is just the story, like, I'm not telling you that this is objectively true or not, but this is almost the feeling I get from it. And I think with Virgo, we do kind of play the martyr. We don't like asking for help in direct ways. It's almost like we will kind of just do our own thing in the background, suffer silently, and hope that someone notices, because we don't want to be a burden. We don't want to ask for that help. And I do see this sort of thing where it's like, ask for help, and also be particular with who might be sensing that from you, though, too. It's kind of a very layered message here. So I hope you've been able to follow this, and I hope it's resonated for you. I do want to pull one more card, actually. And I feel like I've taken the most time on your reading so far. I feel like this really is just a month to take things slowly. Wow, you do have the Sun and the Emperor. And this is kind of clarifying the future. I do feel like this is talking about beautiful blessings and a lot of power that you're coming into, new beginnings. The Sun reminds me of all this fifth house energy you're in right now, which is creativity. Could even be talking about children, potentially, and thinking about family. But I also think of it as creation, creativity. And the Emperor in particular, it's like, how can I make these things that I love, right? How can I create a life that I love? It is a big thing. And I remember for the 2022 horoscope for you, Virgo, I said that your assignment was falling in love with life again. And I think that is like kind of a theme here. Things have been really heavy. There's been a lot of healing, and you might be feeling a little worse for wear from it. And it's almost like, instead of focusing so much on the shadow work, instead of focusing so much on the intensity, it's really simplifying your life, coming back to the things that feel good, enjoying your life again. That's actually really, really important for you in 2022. Despite all the craziness and the kind of the challenges we are going through, it's almost prioritizing this happiness and really figuring out what matters to you. And I think those are all the messages I have for you this month, Virgo. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. If you'd like to see some of the other videos, maybe for your moon or rising sign, maybe there's something that is clarified or something that is resonant for you there as well. Again, all of my links are in the description box down below. All of my readings are 15% off until January 28th or January 8th. So you do have some time, especially if you missed that holiday sale. I will be posting those year ahead horoscopes as shorts, I'm thinking, in the next couple of weeks as well, just adapting them to video format, but they are available written out right now on my website. And finally, if you do feel called to make a donation, I'm actually sending everyone to my friend Angela this month. She is working on a crowdfunder for her Enneagram wisdom deck. For those of you who aren't aware, the Enneagram is actually a system, personality system that helps you figure out how you can grow, what it is that motivates you, what your basic drives and fears are. And I know a lot of people who do tarot and spiritual work where we are really focused on becoming the best version of ourselves, and the Enneagram is a really powerful way to do that. I know for me, Oracle decks are also a great way to learn about topics that I'm not familiar with. So even if you've never heard of the Enneagram, it might still be something that's useful for you to dig into. So give my friend Angela some love. Let her know. I don't know. Maybe put in the comment note, Waymaker sent me. I don't know. Tell her I said hi. I'm sure she would appreciate that. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care and have a happy January.